File number is 241925. Mr. Timothy George is here with the defendant. Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Gary Gabry is here. Mr. Gabry indicated he wanted to be present for this one, and he is, and we appreciate that. Mr. George had a conflict, but he's apparently worked through it. So this matter started as a domestic violence third offense as a habitual offender. It was reduced to a charge of domestic violence first offense. The matter was set for sentencing here today. It's alleged that on or about September 27th, he slapped his live-in partner, Pamela Heflin, in the face, then took off and got arrested sometime later. Mr. Banks has quite a lengthy history of assaulting Ms. Heflin and others, and frankly, this is a tough sentence. Mr. George sent us some information that said the defendant has been on some anti-alcohol medication since last spring. This incident occurred in September, and alcohol was believed to be a factor in this matter. Mr. George, what would you like me to know?
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, I think I've had the opportunity to represent Quit a couple times, and the version that I see isn't consistent with what's contained in police reports. I think the most difficult part about this is, my client understands that he can't renegotiate his criminal history, and a lot of it is alcohol, domestic violence, and the two probably go hand in hand. Here, obviously, he entered a plea, acknowledged what he did, and I think the steps that he's trying to take show the court that he would be able to complete a probation if the court is willing to do that. Obviously, he's on this medication, says that is something that does help him. He's also made contact with an organization called Stacks in Kalamazoo. That would be for anger management. And that's something that he did on his own without me saying anything to him. Obviously, I know if the court has a more intensive program that they would like him to participate in, that's something that he'd be willing to do. He does maintain full-time employment at Bravo Trailers. He actually just showed me a pamphlet here where he won a TV as part of a drawing as one of the employees of the month for last year. So, in the end, Your Honor, my client understands that there has to be consequences for actions. I don't know what this relationship is going to be going forward. It's probably best for them to just go their separate ways. And as the courts heard me say before, the jail is always going to be there. But my client is willing to participate in a probation that would keep him on track, allow him to keep his job, work through any type of domestic violence or anger management coursework that the court would want him to complete. And complete any other type of programs or services that this court would want him to do. The one thing I would note is this court did indicate that he had an outstanding fine the last time he was here in court. It's my understanding that he has paid that off. So we just asked the court to consider that. We understand that there is a lengthy criminal sentence or criminal history here, but I do think that there is some nuance, and we'd ask the court to consider an alternative sentence. Thank you.
All right. I guess the question is, do I do 93 days in jail or some sort of probation? Mr. Graber, what's your thought here?
Yeah, very simply, my thought is that the court should do the 93 days in jail. I did pull up the report, and as the court's aware of our system that we have in this office, a whole bunch of cases show up about somebody. I clicked on the wrong one. Interestingly enough, I clicked on one that talked about Thanksgiving of, I don't know if it was 2 years ago. Mr. Banks was intoxicated.
That was 2020. That would be 202625, where he assaulted his mother.
And there was some argument with somebody else who went in the house and ended up slapping the lady. The man seems to have a problem keeping his hands to himself. I don't know how somebody gets raised to that point where they continue to repeat the behavior. And then when they finally get in trouble again, then it's, oh, well, now I can correct it. Now I can do this. He was given a significant reduction in charges by members of our staff. But again, we know that when we go down that low, the court still has the option of 93 days in jail, and kind of behavior that continues to repeat itself. I think the only way we can break the cycle is let somebody know that this is the maximum on this one. You do it again, we'll be at a different charge level, and we'll be seeking the maximum on that one. I do know that listening to the video, we haven't had any input from the victim, but I watched parts of the interview between her and the police officer, and she wasn't a damnant. It's not on her that I want him locked up and I want him kept away. I mean, if Mr. Banks can take solace, it's not her, it's us, it's me, thinking that that should be what the court does. Thank you.
How old are you now, Mr. Banks?
41.
Well, this history goes back more than 20 years. 045234 was charged as domestic violence second offense in 2004. So you had one before that. 2005, 05510 SM, aggravated assault. 062671, a robbery, larceny, and a domestic violence second. You pled to domestic violence second. I believe it was on Miss Heflin in 06. I could be incorrect about who my victim is. Assault, great bodily harm. You failed to appear. That was in 2012, and then we caught up with you and you pled guilty. Domestic violence second, 122367 FY. It was charged as a felony, reduced to a second. You pled guilty to that. Domestic violence second, 2014, 142538 FY, bound over to circuit court, and you ended up with a felony conviction. During some of these matters, you were on parole. Then in 2020, you were charged with domestic violence third offense for assaulting your mother by slapping her in the face. That's the one that Mr. Gabriel was referring to. It was reduced all the way down to disturbing the peace from a felony charge. That's where Mr. Gabriel came back. 2022, you stole Miss Heflin's car. Unlawful use of an automobile. And then 2022, assault with intent to commit great bodily harm as a habitual fourth offense, bound over to circuit court. That was Miss Heflin. So that's 9 domestic violence or other assault charges, plus some other sundry misdemeanors, including larcenies and multiple drunk driving cases. You're a mean drunk and a coward. You slapped her in the face and then you took off running in the dark in your shorts and a t-shirt. They caught up with you later because you knew what was going to happen. The only thing you got going for you is the fact that you got this job at Bravo Trailers and a girlfriend who is either unwilling or doesn't feel strongly enough about it to come in here and provide any additional input. So what do I do with that? 9 previous assaults, at least 3 on this person, an assault of your mother. Each one of these was alcohol involved. Alcohol is involved in this one. I don't know what to say. I don't know how many bites of the apple you get. So what would you like me to know?
My lawyer stated that everything that he stated, and I'll just go leave it there.
Where are you staying?
Right now, I'm with my cousin,
All right, who's that?
Kenny.
Oh, okay. Everybody's related to anybody else. I had Kenny as a kid on my basketball team. When he was a kid. Your graduation year was 01 or 02?
One.
Tell me about your job at Bravo Trailers.
It's a cargo trailer factory. I'm in the options department. I've been with them over a year, but in the industry, roughly 9 years. Previously was with Hallmark.
And I heard Mr. George say you were employee of the month at the end of the year, so you're probably good at that. You're not very good at this.
I also have children that's dependent on the child support that's being paid for the last consistently the last 2 years as well.
That's relevant also. One of these priors in there was a non-support, and you got charged with felony non-support. How many kids do you have?
I have total 5, but 2 that's of age for child support. The rest are adults.
Who's the mother on those kids?
Charlene Von Traeger.
And where do they live?
Battle Creek.
You don't have a valid driver's license, do
No.
you? How do you get back and forth to work?
I ride with a coworker.
All right, that's ideal. How'd you get here?
Got picked up and dropped off by my cousin. He'll be back.
Let's make sure he didn't drive here.
He walked up here, I seen that.
Okay, good. So how do I weigh that out? 9 assault convictions. One was a disturbing the peace. Some while on parole. You were not on parole, I don't think, or probation when this one went down. You were not on paper when this went down in September. Why did you run away?
I left because she asked me to.
I
didn't run, Your Honor. And I also turned myself in on this. I wasn't arrested. And this disturbing the peace that occurred when I was on Offender'S that was involving of my mother, that wasn't a domestic on my mother. I ended up clear to the disorderly conduct as part of a deal, but for my Offender'S, I had a hearing where it was found that I was the one that had been assaulted. It was Judge Stutzman.
Your blood alcohol was 287. You're on Swift and Sure. It's a wonder you didn't go back to prison for that. Was dispatched to Street regarding Maureen Banks. So that's the address you're at now. Is Maureen Banks living there too?
No, that's not the address that I'm at. That's my mailing address.
All right. We met the victim, Maureen Banks, who advised her adult son, Quentin, slapped her on the left side of her face, knocking her to the ground. Quentin had hit her. He was arrested for domestic violence. He had a blood alcohol of 287. So what did Swift and Sure do when you're a 287 while you're on strict supervision?
I got 1 year in the county jail for the Swift and Sure, but it was found in the hearing that I wasn't the one that did the assaulting. That was Gina had requested the hearing because of the deal that was worked with the court. Being a disorderly person, she wanted to still have the hearing. And it was found then that I wasn't being assaulted.
All right. Well, that's quite intoxicated. Swift and Sure does lots of testing and 287. In 22, when you previously assaulted Pamela Heflin, I responded to Floating Bridge Road. Contact Pamela Heflin, stated she was in bed with Quentin Banks. They got in an argument over a text message. He rolled over and grabbed her by the neck. At that point, he had his hands on her neck. She tried to yell for her son, but she could barely yell. Heflin told me Banks let go of her neck and then shoved her in the face. She better get her son or she would flip him too. They've been in a relationship for over 10 years. And you didn't have anything to say about it. And you got arrested and you were cooperative with the police. I think that one got bound over to circuit court. I don't know what that one was. And I think the old one, then you alleged stole her car and then alleged way back in 6, that robbery larceny, I think, was her. Do you and Miss Heflin have any children together?
No.
Tell me about this medication you're taking.
It's just so for it's an abuse. At the time of the incident, I had a medical foot issue, and I was asked by my doctor to stop taking it at that point. And that's not how, but that's when this incident took place. But otherwise, if you drink with it, it causes extreme sickness, possibly death.
When you got booked in on 12/22, there was alcohol. Is that when you turned yourself in?
No, sir, there was no alcohol. This 12/22 of December.
Let's see here.
I wasn't even given a test of any kind, so I don't know where that came from. So
12/22, 3:30. They put question mark, question mark, question mark.
Can I comment on this?
Yes.
That's what we have to have something in that box when we book somebody in.
All right.
So unless we do a PBT test, we always put question mark.
So there was no PBT or?
No, not unless we are asked to do it by the arresting officer.
Okay. Thinks he might be headed to his brother's at Bentwaters or back to Lockport Liquor. Suspect was intoxicated during the incident in September. So did you stop taking the antabuse or you just powered through it in September?
no, because of the incident that I was having with my nerves in my foot, I was asked by my doctor to stop taking it.
Okay. So you had stopped taking it at this time.
Yes.
And did you start taking it again?
Yes. Yeah, I'm currently.
Was originally prescribed in 4/12/24, has been prescribed regularly since then, dated January 31st. I don't know what Miss Heflin's position is. This is at least the 3rd assault on her, or the 4th, and an allegation that you took her car without permission. 1 day in jail. Turn yourself in. You don't get 9 bites at the apple. I'm gonna order 90 days in jail, credit 1. I am gonna see if we can make this on work release. Or you could do this from the probation center. And your bride could pick you up there and take you to work. I'm going to do a 12-month probation. Fine is 0. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, $150 attorney fee, and a $480 probation oversight fee. No drugs and no alcohol, no assaultive behavior. If you took a test now, would the marijuana be in it?
No, sir.
All right. No contact with Pamela Heflin until further order of the court. She wants to see you. She can see me. Which means you're not gonna go to jail right now. You're gonna go down to the probation department. They're gonna see if they can work out the details on the work release. So it may take a couple days to get this set up. No drugs, no alcohol, no assaultive or threatening behavior. No contact with Pamela Heflin. I've tried domestic violence classes in the past. After 9 times, I don't think I'm gonna order that. But as Mr. George says, I guess the jail is always there. The problem here is I've used up all the jail. So let's make it 60 days, credit 1. I'll hang some jail over your head. This can't
Yeah, so that's called.
go on. Someone's gonna get seriously hurt or dead. All right, I want you to take this down to the probation department. They will see if we can make this work with a work release. And that way you get to keep your job, pay your child support. If Miss Heflin wants to have contact with you, she can see me and I can amend that condition. But for now,